Welcome to Everyday Ethics, everyone. I'm your host, Michael Liebowitz. Got a great episode of Rational Egoist out right now, um, discussing my differences with Ayn Rand. I highly recommend you check it out. I'm time crunched today, so I just want to dive right in. So I will turn it over to the lovely Persephone, who I have to ask if she will please send this to Mark because I can't. I do not have my telephone. But I look forward to a lively discussion today. I'm happy. Booster Seat 11 is here in all caps. Made it. Katie Ellis is here with the what up. And just so everybody knows, we love super chats and super stickers. And I never get tired of saying that. I may get tired of wearing these, but I won't get tired of the. I've only got a few days left of this, by the way.
Yeah, one more week. Um, there's there's so many things that we could talk about. Okay, here. I found this when I was looking at the Moral Dilemma subreddit, which you know is like my favorite place.
It's your fave.
So this guy was traveling with his friend in India, and she lost her passport, so couldn't go on the next leg of their journey. They were going to go to Nepal. He could have left her there, but he didn't want to leave her because she had to. She's a woman and he's a dude. He didn't want to leave her in India. She had to go to Delhi for her emergency documents, which is sketchy. And she's a white woman and this whole thing. So he stayed with her and cancelled his flights and then obviously helped her get sorted. She then sent him a bill basically for the extra accommodation that they had to pay for
Oh, what?
and a bill. Uh
What is a bull?
a bill. A
Oh,
bill.
oh, okay.
Did it really sound like I was saying bull?
That's it, yeah. You know, it's funny when you said white woman because all I could think, have you ever seen the movie Blazing Saddles?
I think so, like years ago.
I haven't seen it, but there's a famous scene where they take the hood off this black guy and he says, "Where the white women at?" And that's what it reminded me of.
Yes. Okay, so they bought flights to Delhi and cancelled the trip. Delhi's an expensive place if you want to pay for a safe location. So for 5 nights, it was £1,100 for both of them to share a room.
Okay.
So he said that he felt morally obligated to stay because of whatever, which I think it's good, but also bad. She has now sent him a bill for half of the accommodation and the flights, which she could technically claim back from her travel insurance. Um, and he asked her, "Oh, did they not agree to pay this money?" And she said, "No, she's still waiting for them to answer." So his question is, he's pissed off that he did her a favor by staying with her and now she's telling him that he has to pay for doing her a favor. And he's asking, what should I do? I was do Does he go along with it and pay her back? Or does he tell her basically to go fuck herself?
Well, I don't. Does it say what the conversation was beforehand? Like, did he say to her, I'm going to stay for you. I don't really want to, but I'm going to do it because you're not safe," or did he just stay?
Um
Because the reason I'm asking is if he just stays, right? Like, suppose I'm somewhere with a woman, and you said what are they, colleagues?
two just
Okay,
friends.
they're friends. So if I'm somewhere with a woman, right, friend or no friend, and we're in another country, and she says to me, "Oh, how about I stay the night?" Right,
Mm.
and that's it. Or I say to her, I'll stay the night, and that's it. And I'm not telling her why. Then why would she be under the impression that I'm doing it for her? And vice versa, why would I be under the impression that the person was doing it for me? If that's not made explicit, and then if you just want to stay, I'm thinking, why the hell am I paying for you to stay here? I didn't ask you to stay.
So here's what it actually says. She covered herself and said, "You go to Nepal. It's my fault that I lost my passport, but I couldn't leave her in some remote part of India, her being a girl and me a guy. She had to go to Delhi for her emergency document, which is a pretty sketchy place for a white woman. So I felt morally obliged as a good friend to stick with her. She also said her parents would pay for travel and accommodation so that she got home safe, but only mentioned it once in passing and said later she hates being reliant on them."
Was the travel to include him?
It doesn't
It
say.
doesn't say. Yeah, no, I think this guy's all wet on this one. She told him specifically he didn't have to stay. He insists on it, and then wants her to pay. And for all I know, he stayed because he's hoping to get in her pants. And now
Yeah,
that
well,
doesn't happen, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not paying."
so she's claiming back from her travel insurance, which should pay for all of the accommodation. Well, that should pay for the accommodation in the emergency flights. But she said that she's going to claim back from her insurance. She's asking him for half the costs. When she gets reimbursed by her travel insurance, she's going to keep the full amount. So basically, what will happen is
Well, then
she'll get.
she's ripping off her insurance company.
So everyone in the situation is the asshole.
It seems like it. I mean, it seems to me the right thing to do in this situation would be for him to pay for himself, and then if she gets reimbursed, she give him his money back, as she's going to get her money back. That seems to be what you would do in this situation.
Yeah, so everybody said to him basically that this friendship is not gonna last because if she's willing to, they're calling it ripping him off, and I don't really know that it's ripping him off.
I gotta say, going by the comments that you tell me about in these things, sometimes these people are like not ethical thinkers. Like they're not people who give this stuff real thought. They just have some opinion that they go and throw it out there. Not another guitar channel says she's gonna forget to pay him back, and he has forget in quotes. I don't know how he knows that, but
Yeah.
maybe he had a
Uh,
rough experience. Some of it.
I mean that is a thing that, I mean, I know that that is a thing that happens to a lot of people. You lend someone money and then they forget. That's like a meme. I feel like if you're going to lend someone money, I think you should be comfortable with the idea that you're never going to get it back. And if you're not comfortable with that idea, then you shouldn't lend them money.
No. If I
Yeah,
lend somebody money, I'm assuming I'm getting it back, or I wouldn't lend it. What's the face? What's happening?
I don't know. It's just weird to me. If I wouldn't lend someone money. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I've never thought about why I feel that way, but if I lend someone money, I'm comfortable with the idea that I'm never going to get back. And if I'm not comfortable giving them money that I know I'm never going to get back, then I won't lend it to them.
Well, if you can, I mean, if you're saying, like, I guess there's a difference. I'm not lending somebody money if I'm not certain I'm getting it back. I have to be confident. But at the same time, I'm not going to lend somebody money I can't afford to lose, if that's what you're saying. But those are two different dynamics taking place.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I don't lend money, right? If I give you money, even if even if you say you're going to pay me back, I will give you money as because I want to help you, not because I expect it to come back. Does that make sense? I don't know why I've never examined why I think about it
Well,
like
give
that.
it some thought, and we'll come back to it in a week or so.
What do you think about people who feel shit about buying from fast fashion brands?
I don't know what the hell a fast fashion brand is, and I don't know why anybody would feel shit for buying from one.
So, once again, like I spend a lot of time on TikTok, right? And there's all of these people who genuinely like they work themselves into a froth about people who stop pulling that face. What
Pulling the
what
face?
yeah, what's wrong with what I said?
They're working themselves into a froth. I don't know, but I don't even. I've never heard pulling a face either. So it's all very foreign. But tell
It's
me about the
racist.
froth, and once we get done with the froth, we can talk about emotions. Remember, you wanted to talk emotions
I do want to talk about emotions, but I really want your opinion on this.
on the
Uh,
froth. Okay,
on the froth.
Persephone,
Hi,
say hi to Jason.
hi, Jason.
Okay, but tell
Um,
Jason she's my producer, so he can't try to make a pass at her. Plus, she's married and lives in South Africa. All right, Jason's Subby's son.
this is just gone wildly out of control.
He's frothing at the mouth right now, Jason. He's worked into a froth. Subby, ask Jason if he's worked himself into a froth. All right, Persephone.
Okay, so fast fashion. Fast fashion is, have you heard of Shein?
No.
Okay, so Shein is like a Chinese, like sweatshop kind of, cheaply produced, mass produced clothes, whatever. Um, People work themselves into a froth about buying from fast fashion brands. They say that it's immoral to buy.
Oh, okay. Let me simplify this because I think I got the hint now. People are upset that others are spending money buying stuff that's made in sweatshops. They're saying, in essence, that what they're doing is they're supporting and promoting and furthering veritable slave labor.
Yes.
Uh,
And they will, even if that's the only even if that's the only thing that people can afford, right? They can only afford to buy because they don't just get angry when people buy directly from Shein or Temu. They get upset even if people buy those clothes from a secondhand store, from clearance or whatever.
yeah. So there's a few different ways that one could look at this, right? But first of all, the idea. So okay, you're spending your money, you go buy this stuff, and the argument is that you're allowing these companies to stay in business and they're mistreating their employees, and that's not right. But the flip side of this is you have people that are starving. They need jobs. And if you stop buying from these places, they're going to be out of work, and probably worse off than they are with those jobs, which is why they took the jobs to begin with. This is really a bunch of first world people who have never really experienced poverty, who are looking at another country and another culture and saying this is what should be done there, and they don't really grasp most of the time that the world doesn't bend to their whims and wishes. But as a fundamental, we've been through this before. When I'm going out and buying stuff, I don't go and buy something because it's going to benefit the restaurant. Nor do I refrain from buying something from somewhere because I wish to harm the place. I go buy what I want and what I need, and I don't worry myself with all this stuff. Now, if I find out that somebody's torturing people, their employees, whatever, I probably wouldn't go there. But in these cases, you're likely talking about a situation where they need these jobs. So the road to hell is paved with the proverbial good intentions, and you don't know what's going to happen if you just stop doing this. So that's my take on it. If you want something from Temu, buy the goddamn thing. I mean, I think that people sometimes just have nothing to do. Meanwhile, they're probably out there mistreating people. They're not, I don't know what they're doing. I'm just speculating that, I've known a lot of people with high-minded attitudes, and in their personal lives are assholes.
Yeah, a lot of the people who say like, well, you shouldn't buy from Shein, a lot of the time they're high horse, very well off white people.
They're liberal white women. Let's keep
Yeah,
it real. Let's go
yeah.
all let's go all in on this and see if we can't get docked some points somewhere. That's what you're.
Yeah,
That's basically what you're
let's,
talking about.
yeah,
Is liberal white women, probably rich, or some semi well off, who can afford to say, "I'm not buying from there." Oh, I would never do
yes,
such a thing.
yes,
Meanwhile, what about the diamond ring on her finger that her rich husband gave her? That was probably a diamond that was, harvested or whatever the word is, from some diamond mine in Africa with slave labor. So, whatever.
Yeah,
We
blood
should all just
diamonds.
starve. We should all just starve to death and say, fuck it. If I go buy a cheeseburger somewhere, some kid somewhere might have suffered in the production of that cheeseburger. I know for sure the cow wasn't happy about it. So let me just plant tomatoes, celery, and lettuce, and I'll live off that for the rest of my life. I won't drive. I won't wear clothes because, somebody's suffering somewhere in that. These people are just too much. It'll give you a headache. They're pains in the ass.
You've never watched The Good Place?
No,
Do you ever plan on watching The Good Place?
no.
Okay, good. So in The Good Place, right, they are all dead. And the whole premise of the show is that everybody on Earth is going to hell because every action that you take on Earth gets assigned, you get points for these actions that you take on Earth, right? And if you do something good, you get positive points. If you do something bad, you get negative points. And right at the end, the big discovery is that all of the unseen consequences of even the good actions that you take, like they have negative consequences, right? You buy your mother flowers, but they had to be shipped and carbon emissions, and they were harvested by a third world migrant who was underpaid and blah 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 blah. And I think people get so hung up on the consequences that they can see. Oh, I can't support Shein because it's like, sweatshop workers, but they're perfectly happy to buy iPhones, which were possibly made in similar conditions, and they choose what to be upset about. Because if it's something that's important to them, if it's something that they want, then they don't care. But if it's something that they feel that they don't need, then they're happy to tell other people that they can't have it.
I used to watch the show Last Man Standing. Very funny show, by the way.
Mm.
With what the hell is his name? Tim
Tim
something.
Allen.
Tim Allen, yeah. And there was an episode where the youngest daughter, the mom was a geologist, and she worked for, I think, an oil company, helping with prospecting or some such thing. And the daughter was giving her a real hard time because of climate change. You're contributing to climate change. So the father said, okay, that's how we're going to be? All right, no more heat for you. Matter of fact, you might not want to stay in the house because we're using electricity. And he made her go sleep outside. You want a piece of pizza? Oh, no, 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 no. That was cooked. That's contributing to global warming. And that's what this reminds me of, is you could not function if this was going to be your mentality all the time. You simply could not. And whatever. It's easy to go pick on some company, one company. And by the way, look, if some company is really horrible and you don't want to buy from them, then don't. I mean, all I'm saying is that there's unintended consequences to those types of actions. And if everybody acted as you want them to, it may not turn out how you want. I don't have my phone, so that's yours.
It's because I texted Mark.
Oh, so what did he get back to you?
Yeah, he did. I got a response from Grok.
Oh, that's what you told him?
I sent him the whole thing from the AI.
Oh. I get it. I get it. She's talking about the debate that I had with Mark today on the Capitalist Corner about war with Iran. And now Mark put it to Grok.
Yeah, I feel like he's lining up for to do one of those things where he sends me 17 messages in a row. So I'm just gonna put my phone on mute. Um, let's let's talk about something else.
Go
We
ahead.
were talking yesterday about emotions. I can't remember where we left off.
I don't either.
Choosing emotions.
Let me say this. I will. This will be a good place to talk. So, in the essay, "The Psychology of Pleasure," in the Virtue of Selfishness, Nathaniel Branden talks about how our emotions. Nice. Our emotions are responses to our values, right? And sometimes, obviously, these values are subconscious. They're deeply embedded, whatever. But that's not relevant to what I'm saying. So that if we pick the wrong values, then our emotions will follow. So, for instance, if I value slutty women, let's say, I don't know, it's what came to my mind. What do you want from me? And now I find out that all these slutty women like me, I'm going to be happy about it, right? But that's not a good thing. I don't want slutty women in my life. Uh, you know, maybe people do. I don't know, but if they're not having all slutty women or slutty men for that matter, but I'm not going to be. I don't. There's no chance of that. But the point is that it's not good for me. Or use drugs or whatever bad things. If I pick bad things for my values, then when I achieve those things, I'm going to get an immediate emotional reward. And that's going to incentivize me to further action. Now, what he talks about, though, is often with these types of things, there's a hangover. And he uses hangover metaphorically. So if I value booze, for instance, I go out and I get hammered and I have a great time. And then the next day I suffer a hangover. And oftentimes negative values will bring you a short-term reward, but pleasure-wise, but in the long term, they'll be harmful. But by the time the harm comes around, you've forgotten the causal connection. So you've been inspired to keep doing bad things. So that is one reason why you need a rational code of morality, a rational code of values, because you want to be emotionally rewarded for doing things that are promoting your life and well-being. So that's one reason why a show like this can help, because it can help with your abstract values, because we do talk about that from time to time, but also with the concrete applications. And then you learn how to think in terms of ethics. You'll pick the right values, you'll be emotionally rewarded and inspired to continue that type of behavior. Making sense? Am I making sense to you, woman?
You you are making sense. Um,
I don't know, Subby. Text Mark and ask him why he's not watching the show. If I had to guess, he's at jiu-jitsu.
no, he's he's busy giving me 7,000 messages about why he's right.
He's not. He's really not.
So, just out of interest, I've now received one, two, three, four, five, six texts, and he's still going.
And he still hasn't shared the show.
No,
Send that to him.
the link to the show.
No, tell him, why haven't you shared the show?
No, I can't do that.
Tell
That's
him I
mean.
said it.
So when you're having a negative emotion, we were speaking the other day about getting discouraged, right?
Yeah.
And Rock's big point was that you can choose not to be discouraged. Um, so if you are feeling discouraged and you know, like intellectually, that you shouldn't be, but you still are, right? You, what do you do with that? What do you do with that gap? How do you just, how do you, yeah,
How
that's
do
my
I, yeah?
question.
I don't know what the question is. How do I deal with the gap between what I think I should feel and what I'm actually feeling?
Yes,
The dogs, can you hear my dogs now? I think
I can.
Subby might be here. Subby, if you're here, shut them up, please. Hold on. Talk for a second.
Today has been a very weird. Today has been a very weird day.
Okay. So it's about a lot of the times just self-talk, the things that you say to yourself, and you want to develop the habit, like I said yesterday, of thinking realistically. Of I got them to shut up, Sub. Don't worry about it. You thinking realistically, keeping an optimistic viewpoint, tracking your thinking, and see that's how you do it. But ultimately, it's not about what you feel; it's about what you do. So you feel discouraged, you go forward anyway. You keep going. You don't feel like working, you work anyway. You don't feel like working out, you work out anyway. You don't want to read, you read anyway. You don't want to come on the show wearing cat headphones, you do it anyway.
It's discipline versus
Motivation.
motivation.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like I had more things to talk about.
I
And
feel like you did too. Mark has really distracted you. That's what has occurred here. Mark
no,
has distracted you.
also, there's just so many things that are distracting me today.
You should tell him that he has to tell Grok not to show bias.
Do you pay for any of the AI tools?
No.
No.
Well, Grok in a roundabout way because I pay for the blue check mark on X. So I get the AI tool. I think it comes free. Nicole Hingle says doing the right thing can feel discouraging because it often doesn't pay off immediately, but the goal should be long term integrity. Awesome point, Nicole. I would modify that just a little bit because the reason is because it's not integrity for integrity's sake. The point is that you want to achieve your long term goals, your existential goals, your long term happiness. That's why you want integrity. Virtue is not its own reward, virtue is the guide to the other rewards that you can achieve. Now, of course, you can feel pride for your virtues, and that can be an emotional payoff. I'm not disputing that. But these are all means to the ultimate end, which is your own life and happiness. Nicole, I'm sorry to hear that you're struggling with discouragement right now. If
Yes.
I don't know how to help, but you do have friends here.
Yeah. Also, what are you feeling discouraged about if you are willing to share that? So,
Maybe you're
reading
putting
Nicole,
her on the spot.
she doesn't have to
Do
answer.
you
I
hold
said
on? Do you
if you
think that
feel
I didn't think of asking that question? But I didn't
I said
because maybe it's prying and she doesn't want to be put on the spot. But then you came and put her on the spot.
and said Nicole, if you feel comfortable sharing.
It's a work situation.
So Nicole's question reminded me of something else that I wanted to ask you. So in this moral dilemma subreddit, there's been a few variations on the same question, right? What is the point of being good if a huge portion of the population is not? What's the point of being moral if so many people aren't? And I feel like that's something that ties in with being discouraged and ties in with it's a question that a lot of people do have. They feel like, well, why should I be good and be honest and be
Okay, so
ethical?
how is the first question I want to answer for you. Ayn Rand, in her chapter, Virtuous Selfishness, how does one lead a rational life in an irrational society? She says, I will confine my answer to a single fundamental aspect of this question. I will name only one principle, the opposite of the idea which is so prevalent today and which is responsible for the spread of evil in the world. That principle is one must never fail to pronounce moral judgment. So, that's the first thing is you want to be able to assess what ethics is and isn't, what's right and what's wrong. Exactly what Ian Gilmore says. It shows a misunderstanding about what ethics is, and that's the first. That's the first problem is we don't know the ethical standards that they're employing. So if they're saying, for instance, being ethical means giving people your stuff, and I'm always giving my stuff away, and nobody's giving me their stuff, and that sucks. Well, then of course you shouldn't do it. But why should you act in your own interest even when nobody else is? Seems like an idiotic question, right? So if somebody says, well, nobody else is being ethical, what you're saying is nobody else is acting in their rational self interest. So basically, so because others are putting bullets in their own feet, I should put bullets in mine. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't follow.
Yeah, but what Greg Lewis said, I think is true. It sounds like social ethics. Because I think that what they're saying is if people are going to be shit to me, why shouldn't I be shit to them?
Yeah, but that would be justice, right? If people aren't being good to you, then you don't be nice back to them. You don't give them things, but you just don't deal with them if you don't have to. You know,
Yeah.
that's the bottom line for that. All right. Do you have any other questions? Because I do have kind of a hard out here.
I do not. I promise to be better prepared next week.
That's all right. We got a good half hour of content in here today, despite Mark's
The spot.
distraction. Despite Mark distracting us, yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We will be back on Monday. Oh, we have an advertisement for something this weekend, don't we?
Yes, we do. We have a group call happening on Sunday on the Everyday Ethics Patreon, and it's going to be really fun. And you can ask your questions. I was going to say in person, but that's not the right word. Face to face via Zoom. It's going to be very fun. The last one was very fun. I highly encourage everybody to sign up for the Patreon. It's only $5 a month, and you get the extra blogs and extra short videos and lots of cool, fun stuff. Also, please check out Everyday Ethics on Spotify. Go and listen, and please leave a rating.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you hopefully Sunday. If not, we will see you Monday. Until then, be ethical.